Hey guys, welcome back to another mini-sode where today we'll be talking about the final installment in the sort of Spy Hunter trilogy with Spy Hunter Nowhere to Run. But before I do, a little backstory. In 2003, around the time Spy Hunter 2 was released, the franchise was popular enough to warrant a film adaptation being in the works with legendary action director John Woo attached to helm the film and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to star. However, by 2005, the film had stalled in development hell for too long and both Woo and Johnson left the project. In fact, as of 2015, the film is still sort of being worked on, which, by this point, is probably not even worth it. During The Rock's involvement, though, a game was developed by Terminal Reality, known for the Blood Rain series, to serve as a side story for the film before just becoming a standalone game, which is Nowhere to Run. But is this pseudo but not film tie-in better than the two games that came before it? Let's find out. In Nowhere to Run, you play as The Rock's character, IES agent Alex Decker, instead of Alex Sex, which is nice because it's tough to say that guy's name without it sounding like something else. Decker is transporting some unknown cargo when he's then assaulted by Nostra agents. After escaping, he meets up with another agent named Corinne before another fight ensues.
But the transport isn't here.
Then just leave the damn thing where it is.
I didn't put 3 years' work into the Interceptor to just leave it for Nostra.
Without the tech, the Interceptor's nothing but a go-kart. You know that.
Yeah, but it's my go-kart, and you know that.
Karen, do you even know how to fire a gun?
Unfortunately, the leader of Nostra, Gomez, steals not only the mysterious shipment, but Alex's interceptor as well.
Fiery nature. Nice of them to leave this for us, though. Tell the men to dig out whatever else is salvageable. The rest can burn.
Cut to a year later, and we find Alex undercover hunting down his car so he can take down Gomez and Nostra once and for all. Just like the past two games, the story is still a thin blend of a bunch of James Bond parts and tropes. But now you're playing as The Rock. Still, it's not a terrible story to just sit back and have fun with.
Yes, as Project Phoenix nears completion, you will see we are putting your capital to good use. We have made several upgrades to the Interceptor.
But first, let's show you around the boat. So you can see in what other ways your capital is being put to use.
NTR's gameplay goes in a totally different direction than its predecessors. Yeah, you still have objectives to complete in each stage, although now, depending on how well you do, you'll earn a ranking that will unlock bonus missions and guns, depending on how many rankings you have. You still drive the Interceptor around like the other games, complete with the big arsenal of guns and gadgets, including some new toys like tire spikes. The weapons van still refills your ammo. You still transform into a boat and motorcycle. Now, there's even a bullet time mode called Salvo Mode to help you take down enemies more proficiently. Although I must admit, it's really easy for enemies to bounce you around the map, making completing stages a bit tougher than they should be. What is new is the ability to get out of the car and fight on foot, turning the game into a third-person shooter. Your main objectives here are mostly to get from point A to B, collecting items needed, and killing the bad guys. You'll come across your standard arsenal of a basic shooter, from handguns, grenades, shotguns, rifles, and rocket launchers, to name a few, though you can only hold 2 guns at a time. But we all know that the ultimate weapon in this game is the Rock himself. When in melee combat, Alex can pull off a few finishing moves. Moves that look very similar to... Oh, who are we kidding? They're the Rock's wrestling moves. Still, it's pretty damn cool to pull off a rock bottom on an unsuspecting enemy. If you can get over the fact that the controls are a bit stiff. Unfortunately, the shooter segments are far from perfect, let alone good. In fact, they're just boring. Like I said, you just go from point A to B, you reach the checkpoints while killing enemies, and occasionally solve small puzzles that really feel out of place in this game, like this water pipe puzzle for instance. On top of that, enemies can kill you pretty fast if you're not behind cover, making for minigame overscreens. Thankfully, there are infinite continues, as well as a regenerating health bar, but be careful as the bar can shrink down if you take too much damage, and can only be refilled with first aid kits located in wall lockers. But hey, you can unlock Spy Hunter Arcade again. Except it's actually a remake using the assets from Nowhere to Run. On the presentation side, the visuals are okay for the time, with environments that, while decent, is basically stuff you've seen in the past two Spy Hunter games, like cities, factories, and the Arctic. Character models look alright too, except, in my opinion anyway, the Rock just looks odd in this game. I mean, I know that mocap wasn't quite what it is now, but he just looks bored here. The same, though, can't be said for his acting, as he has the best voiceover in the game, spouting off one-liners and cliches, but at the same time having a lot of fun with it, while the rest of the cast is alright. The music, though, is just generic, forgettable fluff that you'd hear in any B-action movie.
Traffic was a bitch.
You said you took care of the scientist.
No, I said the mission was a success.
But she's still alive. How the hell is that a success?
Got her phone number.
I gave you an order!
To put a bullet in one of our own? No way I'm doing that.
What makes you think she's one of our own? She's been working with them for the past year.
Under threat from Gomez. He'd have killed her if she resisted. She was inside with a reason, just waiting to make her move.
Well, I'm afraid she may have done just that.
Spy Hunter Nowhere to Run is a pretty good Spy Hunter game, when you're in the car. The arsenal is fun to play with, the car control's great, save for the bouncing around, and the action is top-notch. But once you get out of the car, it's one of the most bland, boring, third-person shooters out there with by-the-book gameplay, stiff controls, and unnecessary sections like the puzzles. Now yes, the addition of The Rock, complete with his wrestling moveset, is really cool, and this was supposed to be a tie-in with a movie that never happened, so you needed to show off your star. I feel it just would have been a better game if it was all about the car. So just stick with Spy Hunter 2 if you want that modern spy car action game. And with that, this is the Dolly Popka. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.